What's up, everybody? Brothers, sisters, psychonauts, and seekers of truth. It is Anonka, and welcome to my bazaar. Today, I have an Oxycodone / Ritalin trip report for you. The title of this trip report is Almost a Speedball, and was submitted to Earwid in 2003 by the user Raoul. With all that being said, let our story begin. For years, we have all heard the hype, and very few have actually tried it. It's the speedball. Heroin and cocaine combined for the ultimate high. Most people that I know don't have the proper connections to get heroin, and even if they did, would never try it. I never would, and ever will. But the concept is simple. A stimulant and a narcotic at the same time. All the pleasant numbness of an opiate, with all the mental acuity of a stimulant. On a smaller scale, a speedball is kind of like a beer and a smoke. The oldest barbiturate and the most common psychostimulant, mixed for a special synergy that many say makes them essential together. So I decided to try something like a speedball, but on a smaller scale, but more substantial than a few Coronas and a walk with the Marlboro Man. I had 75 milligrams of oxycodone in the form of 15 pills with 5 milligrams each. In addition, I had lots of crushed methylphenidate pills. In this experiment, I had about 50 milligrams of methylphenidate. I started at about 4 o'clock one afternoon with a bourbon and apple cider drink, taking down 5 milligrams of oxycodone and taking 1/2 pill every 15 minutes. I killed time by toying around with the computer and playing stupid games. The effects took longer to kick in than expected, so I did a little cleaning around the house while the opiate energy slowly enveloped me. I never have been a hardcore opiate user at all. I was always a psychedelic, mind-bending user. But after giving those up a while ago, I've started exploring other things. Other than post-surgery prescriptions, this was probably my second or third time ever using opiates. After 2 or 3 hours, having steadily ingested about 30 milligrams of oxycodone, I was beginning to feel a bit drowsy and was unable to pay close attention to what I was doing. I was done straightening the house and had decided to compose some music and was having difficulty keeping my eyes open. I was also feeling extremely euphoric. I couldn't believe how good I felt. I also itched, but loved the process of scratching and found it very gratifying. My creativity had been boosted by the opiate, not something I expected. But I now needed the mental acuity to put my creative ideas onto the paper. That was where the methylphenidate finally came in. After crushing up the pills into a small mound of powder, I simply eyeballed 2 small lines that looked like they might be 5 milligrams or so, and snorted them. I went back to the music paper and immediately continued the composition. Suddenly, new ideas that I had never conceived came to mind, and I began unloading them onto the paper faster than I had ever composed before. Melody and harmony solidified perfectly for several sections, achieving the essence of the musical ideal. I continued composing measure after measure, voice after voice, until I had come to a very clear stopping point. By this time, almost 9 o'clock, I had eaten 60 milligrams of oxycodone, had consumed almost all of the crushed methylphenidate set aside for the experiment, and was far more euphoric than I had ever been in my entire life. That includes a myriad of psychedelic experiences, including substances that many people have never heard of. This was, by far, the most amazing bodily high experience I have ever known. I decided to eat the remainder of the oxycodone, finish the methylphenidate, and play games on the computer rather than compose. The composing had taken so much creative energy that I figured ending the evening with some entertainment wouldn't be that bad. When 10 o'clock came around, the last 15 milligrams of oxycodone had kicked in full force. The methylphenidate was almost gone, and I was in pure opiate state. I was starting to get nauseous. I had heard that being in a prostrate position can kill the nausea, so I tried it. It worked like a charm, and my closed eyes led to amazing visions and mental conversations with entities about the very experience. I knew there was nobody there, and that I was alone, and the entities would reiterate that very thing to me. They would tell me, "I am not here. You are alone on your bed, and my voice is not real." Yes, of course, I would think in response. This continued for some time, until I decided to open my eyes and get back to reality. Amazing. There I was, back with no problem whatsoever. I had been drinking water on a pretty regular basis, so I had to evacuate and drink a little more water. I decided to venture out for a smoke, which I found most enjoyable. The cold outside air was also welcome, as a change from the constant opiate warmth that I had gotten quite used to. Upon returning inside, I decided that it would be time to call it a night. I prepared for slumber and climbed aboard my bed, knowing that the experience was far from over. Again, fantastic visions and mental philosophizing continued for several hours before I finally fell into an actual state of restful sleep. A very wonderful experience indeed, and I can see how such experiences can be addicting for people. One part of me wants to repeat it, and yet the other part of me says that it is not such a wise idea. Of course, the lack of availability of the substances is the great deterrent, and I am thankful for that, because such a euphoria is so hard to come by, and never have I been so eager to produce such a volume of music. Incidentally, I listened to a computerized performance of the composition just yesterday, and found it to be one of my favorite pieces. It needs some building upon, but as a concept, it stands well, and the ideas employed are some of my most insightful to date. If I ever stumble upon the necessary ingredients again, and the time is right in terms of the weight of my responsibilities, I think I will try it again. But until then, back to my work, my family, and my friends. Alright, everyone. That is the end of our story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Share with us your Speedball experiences down in the comments below. Check out the other videos and playlists on my channel. And I will see you in the next one, fam. Deuces.